Hello, beautiful people. My name is Anna here, and today we will be talking about the art of complaining. And disagree with me if you want, but we tend to complain a lot nowadays, don't we? We complain about everything. Somebody wronged us, the pen isn't working, somebody brought us a different kind of coffee, a friend betrayed us, we are having trouble with something, and so on. And why do I call it the art of complaining? It is because we've been doing this for centuries. We humans have invented art, right? And ever since we could speak, or ever since we could actually communicate with one another, even with sounds like or yeah, we would communicate our displeasure with one another. I even read this book about it. I haven't fully finished it yet, but from the first few or more pages, it said that people began complaining because that was their way of communicating, whether those other people, humans, were within their tribe or not, were on their side essentially or not. So this is how it all began. But if we begin to wonder why we complain so much, and if we dive a bit deeper into the thought, we realize that as human beings, we have lots of stressors in our lives. And what is stress? Hans Selye, this is the person who actually defined the meaning of stress, the essence of stress, said that basically there are many things in our lives that we are not happy about, that we don't understand, that make us uncomfortable, and those can be positive stressors and negative stressors. And the positive stress is good, right? It makes us grow, it makes us get out of our comfort zone and explore and become more curious about ourselves and the world. And the other type of stress actually makes us sick, right? It is so intense and it feels like too much to handle, and we can actually get sick. Our nervous system can get overloaded and, well, essentially it's bad for us. I'm not the first person to say it. Lots of great scientists have already established that our mind cannot distinguish the difference between a lion attacking us, right? Or the pen that's not working, or our friend that's not been very upfront with us about something, right? Or a date that went wrong, or whatever it is. Because nowadays with our attention span and with everything going on in our lives, we have to make lots of decisions and we have to make them quickly, right? What to buy at the store, this chocolate or that chocolate, or should I buy chocolate or an ice cream, or should I buy both? Or should I choose this career path or that career path? Both have their pros and cons, and well, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm sure you do. Now, I'm calling it an art because it is something that we invented. It is something that appeared in our head as we progressed. And if we made this our type of art, we can think about what we can do to maybe not fully overcome it. I don't think it's possible to not complain. I really don't think it is. I think people are going to complain, and there are even pros to that. For one, it helps us quickly release an intense emotion. For two, complaining is our sense of control. So, again, as I said earlier, a lot of things are happening, and we cannot really control life. No, we cannot do that. We can take certain actions, but we're not fully in control here, right? So, in order to ease in with this kind of pain of uncertainty, we complain, and that is the only thing that can be stable. Think about that for a moment, right? There's nothing stable in this world. Nothing. But complaining is, because we control it. The language is something that we can control, and it's something that has been here for centuries and will probably stay here for centuries. So, stability. It is what we do about it in general, and whether we complain once or twice and then we go and take action and do something about that frustration inside of us, or we just spend our days complaining and complaining and complaining. Things we can do. Give ourselves a certain amount of time, like 15 minutes a day, for example, to sit down with yourself and fully complain. I can use cuss words, I can uh, let myself speak freely, completely freely, without really stopping myself or telling myself how I should or should not speak, right? Or express myself. And then I talk about everything that makes me mad. And then I stop myself for a moment and I'm like, okay, 15 minutes are gone. What can I do about this now? And then I begin thinking, right? So, for example, if you're in a company with another person who complains all the time, right? Which kind of happened to me. I have a roommate. She's lovely. I love her. She is my friend, a dear one. But she tends to complain a lot. It is her way of dealing with life, with the world. And when it becomes too much, it's making me really anxious and frustrated myself and angry, right? Because I'm constantly in this energy and we share the same space together and so on. I acknowledge that it's hard for me to be in that space all the time. And I'm telling myself, okay, you can devote again like 15 minutes to listen to her, but then you have to stop her and say, okay, I hear you, but now I have to take the time for myself, okay? And then I can take a walk, film the video as I wanted to originally, right? Talk to you, create another form of art, which I care about. I am very aware of how intense life can get, okay? So, for the first time, I had to leave home on my own when I was 17. I had to go and live in another country, and then I went home again and lived there for 6 months or so, and then 3 months ago, I had to leave my home as well because it became simply unbearable to stay there. And at the age of 18, I had to leave and go somewhere where I knew basically no one. I had no family members, no friends, no one. And I had to start my life from scratch. Also, I had to live in a refugee camp with very different people, with things that were pretty crazy and are pretty crazy to any human being who has never experienced anything like it. A few days ago, I was also, without any prior notice, moved to a totally different part of Germany where I have to start everything from scratch again, and it is a village with basically nothing here. But with all that, I still have to deal with the documents, all the amounts of documents that I have to do something about, and there are lots of things like that, you know. And you're on your own. You're on your own, and you can again complain and think about how bad your life is, how unfair it is that you had to leave, how unfair it is that there is a war in my country, or I can think about what kind of art I want to create as a human being here, what I want to bring to the table, and what I can do with those resources that I have available. And truth be told, there's always something to do, always. We just have to let ourselves really look for it. And it is there, I promise. So, whether it is you who are constantly complaining, or you're living with someone, or your relatives, or someone else who's constantly in that energy, right? You don't have to listen to that all the time. You can give them a certain amount of time, no matter what kind of grief they're going through, if it is hard for you as well, for your mental health, for your nerves. It is okay to take the time for yourself. It is okay to acknowledge your needs. Give yourself and that person around 15 to 20 minutes. You decide how much you can handle it, right? It's up to you. And then you go and take action. And then you say, if it's your loved one, you can say that, hey, I understand it's tough for you, right? Or you can say actually the same thing to yourself. I understand that it's tough for you, for me, but I cannot listen to that anymore because it's not productive and it's taking a lot of our life fuel, life energy. So instead, let's think about how I can help you deal with it. Maybe I can do something tangible. Maybe there's an action we could take together, we could think about together. Because that is going to be much more helpful. The energy is still going to be released, and we're gonna be satisfied, right? So there's the course of action I'm taking with myself, trying to, at least, and that is something I could advise you to do. All right, loves, thank you for being here with me today, with this beautiful view here in Germany. And I'll see you, loves, all really, really soon. Bye.